To another episode of Conversations with Zoe. This is episode 64, Conversations with Zoe, Times the Stop Plug. My guy,
What up, brother?
Tone Ramos, he's in the building with us. How we know each other, went to high school together, shout out to Hallows.
Shout out Hallows.
Right now, we're in the beautiful South Bronx at the Bronx Native Print Shop, right next to their store where they print all their merchandise in-house. I'm sporting their Black Lives Matter t-shirt.
I'm sporting a Yankee t-shirt.
And this is a beautiful day. I really wanted to connect with my guy, with my brother since high school.
Right.
Who's killing the stock game right now. But I know, stocks wasn't always his thing. So today we really want to break down how he got to this point.
The origin.
The origin, you know what I'm saying? So, introduce yourself, give us your background.
What's going on, guys? My name is Tone Ramos. I'm from the Bronx. This is actually my location over by Alexander, Mitchell Projects, Brook Avenue, 138 3rd Ave. This is my home ground. Basically, I was a student at Hallows where I met Zoe, and we played baseball together. We went separate ways for college, and we reconnected. He's doing something positive for the youth. I'm doing something positive for everyone, and it was just something where, I was trying to take my life lessons and teach others how to be the opposite of how I was in my past.
Yeah, so who have been some of the influences you had in your life?
Positive influences.
You can say negative or positive.
Okay, so a lot of my influences came from people that I didn't know. So it was mentors that I wish that I had, and that would be somebody like Neo Davis, Nipsey Hussle, Hove. People that were inspirations to me, and I just took everything that they spoke about and lived it.
Absolutely. So baseball was your thing at one point.
Right.
How did that end?
So I had a torn rotator cuff, and it affected the way that I played baseball. I wasn't throwing as fast. The distance wasn't. I wasn't throwing the distance, so it affected me to a point where I had to give up the sport that I loved. I stopped playing.
Yeah. So then, after baseball's over, what's next?
So after baseball ended for me, I went to a rehab for my arm, which is across the street. That's Bronx Medical, Brooklyn Medical. I'm sorry. They helped me and my arm to get better, but when I got to college, I went to a D2 baseball college, which was Casanova, and they started asking me if I wanted to play, and I was like, I'm done with baseball. Baseball was too political. The higher that I got up, I was like, no, I'm good. I started playing basketball.
Okay, so then now, going into the academics, because we are talking to the youth,
right.
What were the importance of academics in your life?
So my answer, the best answer is self-education. The more you know, the more valuable you become. So continue to add value to yourself. I wouldn't say that school or college or grad school is the end-all be-all, but I can say the more knowledge you equip yourself with, it's kind of like I always tell my friends and family, it's like if you like Batman, right? You remember Batman had a belt, and everything on that belt was to help protect him, right? So he would have a spray bomb, he would have a bat, like a ninja knife. He would have just a ton of tools on his belt. So I say that to say this: equip yourself with that Batman belt. The more knowledge you have is the more tools you have to defend yourself in life. So if you can continue to add to your tool belt and to your arsenal, you'll be successful in the long run. And that's what we do this for, the long run.
Absolutely. Longevity is the key. So I definitely want to harp on, we grew up in the South Bronx. I'm from 158 in Brook. You're from this area,
right.
Alexander.
Right.
The streets, everyone tends to have, not everyone, but people tend to have an infatuation with the streets. So do the streets love you?
So you can get love from the streets, and I don't necessarily think the streets loves anybody, but the way that you handle yourself in the streets can determine how successful you can be from the streets, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So then how did you survive the South Bronx?
So I survived the South Bronx by just staying militant, being solid, right? I think that when you're a person of 10 toes down and you live by specific morals and ethics, everyone is going to gravitate towards you, and they're going to show you the respect that you show them. I think in the streets, people have that mindset where, it's just a dirty game, but it's only dirty if you play dirty. And if you play clean, then it's clean, right? So I dipped and dabbed from the streets and the sidewalks, but I think I was able to play both because I didn't play dirty. And, I still have a lot of students that come from the streets or people that feel comfortable with, I don't understand this. Can you explain it to me? And those are people that were scammers, people that were drug dealers, people that are looking to change. And the reason that they gravitated to me was because, again, I'm somebody that gives it to them the right way, the clean way. And it's more so, it's coming from a good place. It's not coming from, this guy's gonna, he's gonna mess me up in the long run. He's gonna do me grimy, right? It's coming from, I got your back. We in this together. And when you have that personality, everyone's gonna gravitate to you.
For somebody who wouldn't know what that meant, how do you explain the streets versus the sidewalks?
Okay, so the streets is the game that you play in order to get to a next level fast, whether it comes with legal consequences or death consequences. And on the sidewalk, you're actually living that legal lifestyle where you might have friends that are doing something that you don't do, but you don't engage in that activity. So it's like the difference from, living on the sidewalk and living in the streets.
Absolutely. I think for the kids out there, I can say I'm a person that I pretty much always lived on the sidewalks, but I had to understand the streets.
Correct.
I had to learn how to. Hallows was on 164 in Walton.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you had to learn how to maneuver and move through that.
Right.
And I think I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world because now I know how to be on point no matter where I am. And there's certain instincts and feelings that you get.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That other people would be clueless to. You know what I'm saying? So with all that being said, let's just jump into your college. Like, what'd you major in? Okay. Is it something that you're applying today? Do you think college was a waste of time?
So I graduated with a human services bachelor's degree. College is not a waste of time, only because you get to engage and network with different types of people. So you get to understand how to live with white people, black people, Chinese people. And I think that growing up in the hood or in the environment that we grow up in, we don't have so much access to a variety of different people that live with you. So for me, it was more so not a waste of time because it gave me the ability to communicate with different people. And once I learned how to engage with different people, it allowed me to sell to different people. And once you understand one's environment or where one came from, you can sell to them, right? Because you know a little bit about their culture, you know a little bit about their background, or you know a little bit about where they're from. And once I was able to figure that out, years later, right, when I wasn't the most popular kid in college, but I was in high school, because it was a different transition, years later, my peers are like, I should have hung out with him. This kid was cool, right? It took years for them to realize the value that I brought, right? Mm-hmm. So my thing is college is going to be good if you go for the right reasons. And the right reasons is going to be one, to network, and two, to educate yourself in a specific program that's going to allow you to catapult later in life.
I mean, this is an amazing answer. It was not the answer I was expecting, so I was definitely blown away. But you definitely just gave me some perspective.
Right.
I talk about this all the time, where people may have this perception of where we come from, the hood, talking and acting white, which is the stupidest thing ever.
Right.
But there's a certain time and place for things. You have to know what's appropriate.
Correct.
With attire, with language,
Correct.
with how you conduct yourself. And I think exposure is the biggest thing. When
Right.
you get out of the hood, when you get to hang around white people, when you get to hang around, a more diverse crowd.
Right.
And it helps you as an individual, because I'm all about personal development. It helps you find you
Right.
in a different room.
Agreed.
And I feel like that's one of the most invaluable things that college can give a person.
Right. Or you can be the same person when you walk into every room.
Every room.
And everyone has to adapt to you. And I think that's kind of where I was. I walked into every room as myself, and people adapted to me.
Yeah.
They either say, yo, I don't like this kid, he's obnoxious, or yo, I love that kid because he's himself.
Yeah.
Right? So you're gonna weed out the people that dislike you, and you're gonna gain the people that like, no, this guy's himself.
Yeah.
And that's where I was in college.
Yeah, absolutely. So things start to take a shift.
Mm-hmm.
After basketball, what happens? Basketball's over. What's next?
So I necessarily really didn't play on the basketball team.
Yeah.
I just started to enjoy the sport more.
Yeah.
But after basketball finished, and college finished, I began my career in substance abuse counseling, getting paid $30,000 a year. It was still in my mom. I was still in my mom's house. The job was very, very slow paced. It wasn't engaging. It wasn't fun. It wasn't something that I can learn from. So I left that. I went to teaching kids. I went from teaching kids and helping mothers enter programs like a social working program.
Yeah.
I did that for about a year, hated it, and then I went into real estate.
Yeah.
And then in real estate, I learned how to sell. I learned how to become an entrepreneur, and I learned what it was to be a real hustler in life, the legal way, the legal way. So I think that I would say that my career initially started as a real estate agent.
Yeah. So then, for those out there who feel like there's not a way to get it, and the legal way is boring, I think you just have to find your niche. You have to find where you fit in. And I think real estate was what opened the door for you, and got your mind exposed to like, yo, I could flip houses, I could get money, I could get commission. Like, it's almost the same kind of mentality. You're just dealing with different, but it's still a product.
Exactly.
And it's still a consumer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's still a client.
The toughest part about being an entrepreneur is learning how to sell. That's going to be the bread and butter, right? Selling. You need to go through parts of your life where you're learning how to sell, because if you don't know how to sell, then you're not going to be successful. It is what it is. No matter what service you provide, no matter what product you provide, it always ends up in two ways. You got to be a buyer and a seller.
Yeah.
And those are going to connect to create a transaction.
Yeah.
And if the transaction is good, then you got profits. If the transaction is bad, then you're still at square zero, right? So for me, when I began to sell or to rent out apartments, I wasn't good at the selling part in the beginning, right? I got better through all the no's that I was receiving. I started to understand how to tackle a no when someone, I was afraid of saying why don't you want this apartment, right? Instead, later on in life, I began to, take those no's and make them into yeses. So I was becoming successful due to the selling portion. And that's what we were discussing a little bit earlier.
Yeah. So then, through the midst of all of this, you were rapping at some point.
Yeah.
So when did that happen? How did that start? How did that end?
All right. So great question. I was a rapper or looking to rap since high school.
Yeah.
Right? I remember my man Ray. I don't know if Ray's gonna see this, but Ray went to a Hallows. Ray Cassiano. He was something called Guap Fan. It was called Grimy with a Pen.
Yeah.
And I knew how to rap, but I didn't know how to rap on a beat.
Yeah.
And they were the first people that brought me to a studio, and I sounded terrible on that beat. Let me tell you. And I'm a type of person that has drive, so I wanted to become a rapper that can rap on a beat. I always did acapellas, I always did battle raps, but on a beat was like a different format.
Yeah.
So I started to challenge myself to rap on a beat, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna be better than Raymond. And Ray went to Ohio with us, and I ended up surpassing Raymond. I surpassed a lot of people when I took that challenge upon myself to be better. So I started rapping in high school, got a little known for it. I got popping in college because of my man Keith. Shout out my man Keith. He was popular in college, and he provided kind of like that platform for me.
Yeah.
And when I had to showcase my talent, I delivered. So he would kind of like, yo, Tone's nice. And in college, I kind of was like, oh, that kid raps, whatever. Fast forward to after college, I was like, yo, I'm gonna take this shit serious. I was taking all my checks from the social working and all that other stuff, and I was investing into myself. And I started taking flight, little by little. I was always a popular kid, so people would just repost me, showing love, and it got into the right hands. And then, people just started, they started seeing my talent. I just started, blowing up little by little.
Yeah.
All right.
So then, today you're the stock plug. A couple years ago you were rapping.
Yeah.
So then, so then you're taking off, and what made you transition out of music?
So I transitioned out of music when my dad, he was real good friends with Fat Joe. And I was hoping we could land a deal. So we kind of had like conversations. We was asking for a verse, and we sent him some music. And he's like, yo, I'm gonna get to it. Never got to it. And I kind of felt like he ain't get to it because he kind of felt like I wasn't good enough. So if a rapper that's successful, super successful, is kind of like running you around, and you kind of don't have those connections, and you coming out of pocket all of the time, it was kind of like, all right, I gotta kind of find something that's gonna make me more money. So I had to put down the rapping skills and focus and hold my knowledge towards something that I could generate revenue from. Yeah. And I knew that even though I was good at music, it wasn't my passion. Yeah. And it wasn't something that I loved to do. It was something that I liked to do when there was nothing to do. Yeah. And I was able to identify that, that was just a hobby and not my passion. So then, just to highlight on that word, I feel like that's something that's super important. So you're passionate about what you do now. Correct. So how would you, if you were talking to the youth, like how would you explain passion to the youth? Passion? So passion is something that you love to do. Passion is something that you would do even if you didn't get anything from it. Passion is something that you don't need validation for. Passion is something that you're going to do regardless. And when you start to realize things that you're passionate about, the money is going to come following because you're willing to do things for free. You're willing to sacrifice your time and the opportunities that may come, prior to your passion, but you're just passionate about that one thing that's going to, take you over the edge in the future. So the way to really identify passion is a long-term investment. And when you look at long-term investments, you know that what you do now don't matter because in 10 years, right, that passion or that investment would quadruple in value. And that's what being passionate is about. Absolutely. So now, we go through another transition, right? Yeah. So now, real estate, we spoke about enterprise earlier. Yeah. So you were making $100,000. Low under $100,000. Little under $100,000, right? Let's just say 100 for the sake of the conversation, let's say right? $100K. Yeah. Well, you were making close to 6 figures, right? Well on your way, right? On my way, correct, yeah. In this world, no one quits that job. Right. what I mean, let's say 76, 86, right? 76 to $86,000 a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get commission, you get, what you call that? You get pay plans, right? So the more that you stay with this company, you can evolve in payment, right?
Yeah.
So in salary or commissions, right? So for me, it was so like I knew that this was the job to stay at for security.
Yes.
If I wanted to be secure, I would just have to continue to get promoted, because the next step was 100K plus, right?
Yeah.
I built my pay plan around the $80,000 a year mark. So the very next step would be 90, 100,000,
yeah.
right? So the 90 and 100,000 mark was literally the next step. And for me, it was, I needed to stay here. I needed to be here. They provide a company car, right? They give you all of these perks that make you want to stay with the company. And then, you have potential pay increase. So why not stay?
Yeah. So then through all of this, what makes you be like, I'm out?
So a lot of personal things were going on within the company. But the best thing that happened was COVID. And when COVID struck, I was laid off. And when I was laid off, I needed to become a man, and I needed to generate income to support my family. And I thought of three things, right? I'm on YouTube all day. They'll tell you there's three things to jumpstart your life, right? And that's one, you open a business, right? Two, you buy real estate. And then three, you enter the stock market. So these were the three things that was told on YouTube to do in order to generate cash flow, income, and become successful. So I knew that I didn't have the money to start a business, and I knew I didn't have the money to buy real estate. The next step was the stock market.
Yeah.
So now I go ahead and I learned everything about the stock market. I teach myself, I enter courses, I'm on YouTube all day, focusing on the stock market, and I end up growing my account from 3,000 to 100,000, right? My first 6 months. Now, granted, the market crashed and then shot up. So this allowed my money to 5x, 10x.
Yeah.
So I can understand how I did it in a short period of time. But for other people that weren't investing, they weren't being able to see what your money can do for you if you invested it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So how would you define financial literacy?
So financial literacy is basically the understanding of financial freedom.
And how would you define financial freedom?
Financial freedom is being able to create a system that works for you while you're not working and you're enjoying your free time and money is still being made for you.
Like right now.
Like right now.
So like you showed me some deposits. You're making money as you were on your way here.
Correct.
As we were hanging out.
Right.
As we had to go get the key to open up the shop and all of these things.
Yeah.
And I mean, I haven't made $1 today, but I'm doing something passionate.
Correct.
I'm giving something to our community.
Correct.
That's bigger than the both of us.
That's correct.
That people can study from. Really take out your pen and pencil.
I agree.
Because I have a guy here, and that's when we go back to passion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so passionate about this. I drop off my son with his aunt. I've been talking to you for a couple of weeks to get this lined up. And you were like, when you called me the GOAT, I was like, whoa, like you're the GOAT. But then when you broke it down to me, I was like, wow, man, that like for a person that I hold to a high regard, to see me at that level, like just gave me such a boost of confidence.
So for me, it's like you have to understand that you're a GOAT, right? Because you have GOAT material. And the GOAT material that you have is up here, right? So whether you're successful now, remember, we're not playing the now game.
Yeah.
We're playing the passionate long-term game, right? So if we're playing the long-term game, I already know where you are 10 years from now. You just got to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to you as a 10-year, Zoe from 10 years from now.
Yeah.
That's who I'm talking to. So when I say, yo, you the GOAT, I mean it because I know who you are in 10 years. Oh. I know that if you keep doing what you're doing, you're the GOAT. You know what I mean? You just have to be consistent.
Yeah.
So I say that to say this. Every one of us has GOAT-like, mindsets and material. But the people that remain consistent are those that are going to progress and become GOATs.
Absolutely. So when we talk about where we come from, Brook Ave, something that we share in common.
Oh yeah.
Do you feel that the hood is starved of this information when it comes to financial literacy?
No. Don't think that.
Tell us why.
YouTube, Google, textbooks, right? You have access to all of these resources. Why don't you go and access them? Right? I don't think that someone has to come and say, yo, Zoe, read this book. Yo, Zoe, tap into stocks. Yo, Zoe, go get you some real estate. I think if Zoe wants to be successful, Zoe has to go out there and be successful. So are you starved? No. Are you deprived? No. Did you not know about it? Maybe. Maybe you didn't know and you didn't want to engage in it. Or maybe you just don't know what you don't know. But does everybody know about stocks? Everybody knows about stocks. Does everybody know about real estate? Everybody knows about real estate.
I think it goes to people seeing the value in those things. Like we spoke earlier in the car about when you get it, you want to show it. And you said that doesn't matter. So how do we break out of that mentality of, all right, I just made this, let me go buy Montclair?
Right. So as I was discussing with you earlier, we discussed social proof, right? So social proof is being able to show results, right? You have to be able to show results. Most people cannot. If most people become successful, they have to go buy the biggest house. They have to go buy the nicest car. They have to go, do something to show that they're successful. And those are the people that go back to square one. And I always elaborate to my friends that this is basically like a building, right? And let's say there's 10 floors. And we all start on floor 0. The person that makes it to floor 1, floor 0 is looking up like, yo, good shit, bro. You a beast. I fuck with you. You the man. You the GOAT, right? And floor 1 is looking at floor 0 because that's where he was. He's like, I either don't want to go back there or I got to show these people what to do in order to get here. But there's nobody from floor 1 looking up at floor 2. And floor 2 is definitely not looking down at floor 1, right? Now it's up to the person in floor 1 to get to floor 2 or go back to floor 0. Most people go back to floor 0 because they're trying to show people at floor 0 either how to become successful and then mess it up, or they're trying to engage in floor 0 to let them know, like, look, you want to be at floor 1 with me, right? They're not thinking about floor 2. But the person thinking about floor 2 and they get to floor 2, that means they're 2 flights away from floor 0. Yeah. They're not looking to go back down. Mm-hmm. And that's how I look at it. I look at it like, all right, I cracked the code, I'm on floor 1, but I can't necessarily worry about floor 0. So I'm not gonna go ahead and buy a new car, right? I'm not gonna go ahead and buy a mansion, right? I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna live within my means, and that's what I did. I still drive a car that got over 100,000 miles on it, right? Over 100,000 miles on my car, and my house got 3 bedrooms. I don't got a big house. Fonzo, I got a big house? Nah, right? My house is fairly small. Live within my means.
Yeah. So I think we just have to get people to see that the real has yet to come, and
it's a process.
Who cares about what people think, what people have? All of that doesn't matter,
right?
Because if you fail today, who cares?
Right. I mean, people care.
People care, but it's more about who cares. Because not everybody's opinions matters. And depends. Because
remember, I work for myself. Yeah. I quit my job. So it doesn't matter if you become successful because you go to work and you clock in 9 to 5 and you get paid every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If I'm selling a service to somebody and they're not seeing results, they're going to, one, unsubscribe to my service, which I lose money from. Yeah. And if I'm not able to drive results, they're not going to want to, purchase my programs.
Yeah.
So I gotta worry about what everyone thinks about me, because everyone are the people that are helping me make money and stay out of work.
Yeah.
Right?
But you're still all right. So what you're worried about is what's going to grow your business. But whether you have a Montclair now doesn't make a fucking difference.
Correct. Scalability.
That's what I want to drive.
Okay.
To where we come from.
Materialistic and materialism isn't a factor. It's only a factor in floor zero. And if you understand that you're in floor zero, the Benz that you're paying an arm and a leg for doesn't matter. It doesn't make you successful, right? That Montclair, that YSL bag, that Gucci belt, it doesn't identify success. And I think that most people use it, what I call as a badge, right? You know, when you're a Pokemon, when you play Pokemon, you get all these badges, right?
Yeah.
Like, your Montclair is a badge, bro. It identifies that you make a little bit more money than the average person wearing a North Face.
Yeah.
Or that Gucci belt is a badge. And people like all right, I tell people this too. You know, when you go and on a passport, you get your passport and you stamp it up, right? You kind of look more cool than the person that don't got stamps on this shit, right? Yeah. And reason being, mind you, it makes no difference, but it just makes you feel like you can say that you went to X, Y, Z.
So yeah.
These are all badges, and the government, they understand that we, since young, grew up on badges, right? When you did something right in school, they gave you a gold star. You got honors. You got all of these badges. So when you get these badges in the hood, you kind of like, yeah, I'm solidified. I got me a Montclair. Yeah. I got me a Gucci belt. I got me a Fendi outfit. The government played you. They understand you care about badges. Pokemon, the biggest game in the world. Ass Ketchum worried about badges. That's what this life is about, badges. When you stop playing for badges, what happens? The game changes. You start playing a different game. When you play that different game, that's the game that I'm in, right? So when I'm going ahead and I'm buying a Montclair, when I'm buying Gucci's, when I'm buying it on a credit card, right? And my credit card cash back pays for the items. I cracked the code, right? And everybody can do it. I can give you game, right? Like I gave game, right? When the PS5s came out for $500, we went and maxed out a credit card for $3,000. We bought 5 of them and sold them all for $1,000, right? Now we came back with $5,000. We paid off the credit card. We still had $3,000, $2,000 profit.
Yeah.
Now we invested that $2,000 into the stock market. $2,000 100%. We back at $4K, right? Everybody can do it, but can you hustle like me? Can you out hustle me? Are you gonna be smarter than me? Do you want to play the badge game? I could have took that 2 bins and bought a Montclair and just had a Montclair,
and that's all you would have.
Or I can go ahead and do what I do, invest and make 100%, come back with 4 bins and look like the GOAT. Like, yo, you just maxed out a credit card, you used no cash, you got, and the best part was the credit card paid me for using that money. I got cash back. That's how you win the system. But I'm not playing for badges, I'm playing for keeps. Feel me?
That's the difference. Listen, conversation with Zoe, times the stock plug. This is monumental, you know, and this is why I needed my guy to be here, you know. So we're gonna wind down a little bit, but let's talk stock. So you say 11 months.
Yeah.
What was the day that you like?
6 months, my first 100K. 8 months, my second 100K, and then 11 months, my third 100K. So 300K in the books, and under a year. Phenomenal.
That's different. I want to congratulate you. I definitely want to give you your flowers.
Appreciate it.
While you're here, you're changing the game.
Appreciate it.
So then now, what transferable skills came with you from the streets to the stock market?
So the transferable skills that I would say is, 1, you still have to remain solid. 2,
non-negotiable.
You have to have ethics and morals, right? So ethics and morals always came back to how would others talk about you when you're not in the room, right? I always thought that was like the biggest key component in the streets, right? Because believe it or not, people are talking behind your back, right? Whether it's your mom, your dad, or your best friend and another friend, or friends in general, right? People are always gonna have a conversation about you.
Yeah.
But what they say behind your back when the doors are closed and you're not around, that defines who you really are.
Yes.
Because when you're in the room with them, they love you.
Yeah.
Right? But when you're not in the room, what are they saying? And if they only have positive things to say about you, you won.
Yeah.
And if they're saying like, yo, that fake, I don't really rock with him like that, right? That's when you realize you have to change your brand. You have to change who you are. Yeah. And I was one of those people. I was one of those people that was mixy. I had friends up the block. I had friends down the block. My up the block friends didn't like my down the block friends, right? I was mixy. So I'm sure I had people saying different things about me, right? What I did was I changed on how I engaged with the people, and that allowed me to take that to my current position.
Yeah.
And I treat everyone the same. And when you treat everybody the same, right, whether they're new beginners or advanced, people are going to appreciate that you don't pick sides. So that's a transferable skill, not picking sides, right? Staying 10 toes down, being solid, right? Being humble. These are transferable skills, right? You can take that to entrepreneurship. That's what I did.
Yeah, 100%. So you started on Robinhood.
Yeah.
And so what was the first day like? You downloaded Robinhood and...
So I started on E-Trade.
E-Trade.
My dad actually was the person that told me to buy stocks. He was like, yo, just buy stocks. He didn't know what to buy. He just like, yo, buy stocks.
Yeah.
First company I made money off of was a company called Match.com. Match.com is the websites or the creator of websites that allow you to find couples online. So you got like Tinder, they bought Tinder. They got all of these sites. Match.com I got in at $30. Match.com right now is trading at damn near $200.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That was the first stock I've ever bought in my life. Match.com. And that was in 2017. Right? So in 2017, I bought my first stock. It did very well. I get fired. Every stock is on discount. So you got Square at $60. You got Pinterest at $20. You got Shopify at $100. You found discounts on all of the elite companies because COVID kind of like messed up the market. Shopify, $1,400 from $100. Pinterest at $87 from $20. Square at $260 from $60, right? 100%. You put 3 bands, 6 bands, 9 bands, 12 bands, just like this, flying, right? But you're flying at 100% rate. So you get 3 bands, right? 6 bands, 6 bands, 12 bands, 12 bands, 24 bands, 24 bands, 48 bands. Scaling everything 100%, right? Now it's so easy to make 100,000 when you scaling at 100% within weeks, really. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's how fast and how bullish the market was going. I caught a wave of that. When I caught that wave, I was able to take off with it.
Yeah. So was there anybody who taught you the game?
No. I mean on YouTube, I would say that I jumped on YouTube and I took an understanding of what to do. I got a boy named Jonathan who, after he seen me make my first 100,000, he was like, yo, you got to come rock with me on this stock options wave. And stock options is completely different from, buying shares. So when I tapped in with him, we chopped it up. He's more so like a friend, right? He'd be like, yo, I just bought this course. Why don't you come and take it, right? So he'll give me the course for free, right? He'll throw alley-oops. Yo, come in my group chat. Like, a lot of us are making money in it. Come to the group chat. He's more so, I would say, like a good friend, right? Because a lot of people don't provide those opportunities, right? Mm-hmm. But he's somebody that is like, yo, come rock with me. Then I got a boy named Ivan that I took under the wing, and Ivan been crushing it. I'm like Ivan's mentor, but he's like a good friend to me too, right? Like we chop it up. But nobody really gave me the game I had to go out there and look for it. That's why I said, like, we're not deprived or starved of information. It's how bad do you want it? And when I went out there and I said, yo, you know what? I'm going to be good at this shit. I'm gonna stand by this, and I guarantee that I'm going to be good at it. That's what I focused on. So I went and I read books. I went and I Googled everything that had to do with stocks. I started at Stocks 101, and then I graduated into options. Most people go straight into options because it's fast money. But if you don't understand how underlying stocks work, you're not going to understand options. So after I mastered it here, I went into the options game. And then I was surpassing the people that were trading options before me because I knew how stocks and volatility and things like that worked. So it was easy. And, purchasing good companies, I understood it. Most people just they go with whatever wave is popping. Like, oh, EV is popping right now, I'm going EV. Oil is popping right now, I'm going to go to oil. But they don't understand what are good companies and what defines a good company. And I feel like that's what I brought to the table. And it allowed me to make more money than them because I understood how to purchase good companies.
Yeah. Have you ever read Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Yeah.
What did that book do for you? I really promote and try to get people to read that book. But what did it do for you personally?
It changed my mindset.
Yes.
It allowed me to think differently. And I think that most good books do that, right? A good book is supposed to shift your mindset. Yeah. It shifts how you view things, right? It doesn't identify. You can read 100 books. You can read Good Dad, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and still not invest in real estate.
Yeah.
Right? You probably read it a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, about a year or two ago.
So you read it a year or two ago, and then you still don't do anything in regards to after reading it. Yeah. The only thing that it really did for you is change your mindset. Yeah. It allows you to look at things differently. So that's the good thing about books. But like I tell people, no matter how many books you read, it doesn't identify your execution. So knowledge is good, but applied knowledge is better. And if you don't apply knowledge, then you're not going to be knowledgeable. And I always reiterate to my students is like, if you read a book on how to shoot free throws and you never shot a free throw before, and then you get to the line and you miss, and you read all these books about free throws, there was still no execution. Yeah. There's still no trial and error, right? So you kind of need trial and error and execution in order to be, successful. So that's definitely how I identify that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely I have like a money mind now. I've always been like a man of the people, a man of the kids, youth. But then ever since reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, I got some pretty influential friends from boarding school who are doing numbers in this stuff. And they've been telling me. So that's where I sort of kind of try to take it upon myself to try to give, earn, learn, and return. You know what I'm saying? Earn it, learn it, and then also return it, give it back. And I feel like
it should be more learn, earn, and return.
Yeah, learn and return.
You got to learn it, then you got to earn from it, and then you got to give it back.
Absolutely.
You can't earn first and then learn it. You want to learn it, earn it, return it.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Absolutely. So with all this being said, I see you have your platform and you're helping others. So then now, what made you do that? Because we know what the mentality of quote unquote what a hood nigga is. You know what I'm saying? That's not people from where we come from don't really do what we're doing.
Right.
So what made you be like, all right, I need to teach people this stuff?
So, great question. It started from my friend little Alex. He was like, yo, bro, I need you to teach me. And when he said he needed me to teach him, I brought him to the crib and I was showing him the game. After that, people were contacting me on Instagram. How do you do this? So I said, you know what, guys? I'm gonna do it live, and I'm gonna show you guys what to look for, what I look for. I did it live. My first live ever. I never went live before. First time ever, 500 followers on a live. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I got 500 views on this. Usually on live, people be having 20, 30, sometimes nothing. Yeah. I had 500 people. So I knew I caught people's attention. Yeah. So I made a post, who wants to learn this? And then I did a poll, who wants to learn this? I had a 98% rate. I was like, in my mind, thinking how like you said, I think profits. I'm like, all right, I could probably scale this. So I said, yo, you know what? I'm gonna do everything for free, right? So I did everything for free, and people started making money. So I started like posting about it, like, yo, buy this stock, buy this stock. And then a month later, people were like, yo, I bought this stock. I'm up $300, $400, $500. Then it was like, all right, cool. I'm equipped with this information. Let me create a Discord. I created the Discord that was free. Everybody comes in the Discord. People are making money. So I'm like, yo, everybody's making money off of my information. So maybe I should charge for this. Then I started charging for it. And I turned, I think I started charging like $100. Something like, I was like, yo, just give me $100. I'm going to teach you the game. Yo, bro, the first day, very first day, I had 20 people. Just like that. On $100. That's $2,000. I'm like, damn, I made $2,000 in one day. It felt good because I was still working. At that time, I was just about to go back to my 9 to 5 because they called me back from the COVID relief program. They're like, yo, you can come back to work. So I made $2,000. I was like, all right, if I can learn how to do this shit without having a job, it's lit. And that's what I was, when I was at work for about 6 months, I was focusing on how to scale the business. That's why in the beginning of this conversation, I was talking about scalability, because once you learn how to do something, that's the good part. But you have to learn how to scale it. That's where the money is from.
Yeah.
So if we're doing conversations with Zoe, and Zoe can't scale this, Zoe's going to be doing free things for the rest of his life. Scalability is key.
Yeah.
Got to learn that. That's what I learned.
Absolutely. So, if you can go back and talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell the dude in the biggie over there?
Yeah, if I could go back to my 18-year-old self, I would tell myself, Tone, don't worry about popularity. Don't worry about females, and hone in on a skill. Don't go to college. That's what I would tell myself. I actually had a conversation with my dad before I left to college, and I said, Dad, I don't want to go to college. I want to go ahead and be an electrician or a plumber. I read this article stating that, the people that are more successful are the people that have specialized skills. And if the world was to end today, or like I said, I'm sorry, if we're in a building, and we're in this room right now, and the lights go off, and you're a rapper, and you're a doctor, and I'm an electrician, you guys got to pay me the big bucks to turn that light back on.
Yeah.
Right? But if me and you get hurt, we got to pay him the big bucks to heal us.
Yeah.
Right? So having a specific skill set, it's going to add value to who you are, and it's going to allow people to pay you the big bucks.
Yeah.
So if I could go back to my 18-year-old self, I would tell myself, yo, Tone, dead the females, dead the popularity. Go ahead and learn something, be a master of it, and in 2 years, you're not going to have to worry about money.
Yeah. I'm glad that you brought up, being an electrician, being a plumber, things that we call essential jobs now, right? Yeah. Things that you can't get fired from, because whether people are in the house or out the house, things still happen,
Right.
and it takes people with specialized skill to be able to take care of those things.
Right.
They're taking these specialized jobs out of high school. There's no trade school and stuff like that. And so then, they're taking these skills out of school. They don't have trade schools no more. They don't have things that you can go to high school, but that's a profession, and that's the fast track to entrepreneurship,
correct,
ownership.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and there's less people in it.
Right. So before we crack down, before we give our message to the youth, can you just sort of kind of talk about the importance of ownership?
So, ownership is king, especially in the world that we live in, because we live in a capitalism government. And capitalism is the rush to get more money. And money is everything. So, living in a capitalism government, ownership is king. So the more you own, that's considered an asset. And yourself can also be an asset, right? Because the more applied knowledge you have, the more valuable you become to other people.
Yeah.
And if you become valuable to other people, they're willing to pay you more and pay you in value. And that's going to allow your brand or your personality, I would say, to make yourself more useful. So ownership is home ownership, right? Ownership is business ownership, right? The more assets that we control and that we own, the more successful that we will become in the future. So definitely want to hone in on ownership, all types of ownership.
Yeah, I saw a post yesterday on Earn Your Leisure. Shout out to Earn Your Leisure.
Yeah, shout out Earn Your Leisure.
We're here with the stock plug. Who should be on Earn Your Leisure, by the way? That'd be different. You know what I'm saying? So I'm putting that into the universe right now. You know what I'm saying? Like this product, like an Apple stock is cheaper than what this costs.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the mindset of a producer versus the mindset of a consumer.
Right.
You know, where we're just thinking about, oh, I own this, but that's it. You know, this is not gonna bring me more than what it cost me.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct. Unless you scammed it.
Unless I scammed it. You know what I'm saying?
But so guys, just to wrap that up, so you want to be able to be a business partner of these companies. Essentially, when I discuss owning a business, you don't realize that being a business partner is essentially owning a part of a business. And obtaining equity is what's going to allow you to make more money over time and create generational wealth, right? Equity is when you're not working, but the money is working for you, yes. Right? Now, equity is something that you need in order to be successful. Having equity in a company is going to allow you to propel in life. You're going to be able to allow your money to work for you. And when your money is working for you, right, it's making you more money. So if you put your money in a shoebox, that money that you put in the shoebox is always going to be there, whether you held it there for one day or you held it there for 10 years. It's not going to be any more, but it's going to be less than what you put there. And I tell you why. As we discussed earlier, we have inflation. And with inflation, the cost of the value of your money, it's decreasing, right? So as it's decreasing in value, your $10,000 is $10,000, but to the government, $10,000 is now $5,000 because they printed out more money. So the amount of what $10,000 can get you is equivalent to $5,000. So what you want to do is go ahead and buy equity, because equity is going to continue to rise in value, and make that $10,000 $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, so that when you pull out, you have $40,000 instead of $10,000.
Yeah,
that's equity, right? So what we want to do is buy as much equity as possible. How do we do it? We stop buying products like this. We stop buying Montclairs. We stop buying, nice cars. We start focusing on equity. And to wrap that up, I just want to I want to discuss that I had a friend that was in the streets, and he recently just got arrested, right? And he was trying to change his life through my program. So as we were discussing me being a mentor to him, it was, he used to drive a Porsche. And I'm like, bro, you don't need a Porsche. People know that you got a Porsche. They know that you got money. You don't have to showcase that you got money.
Yeah.
Bro, you should go ahead and buy a Honda, right? Take the remaining money that you would have bought for the Porsche, go ahead and invest that. And he went and bought some property in Dominican Republic. So now he got property in Dominican Republic. He got money in stocks, and all the money that he had, sitting around is now being invested. So the best part of it is he got locked up for something old, right? So now that he's locked up, his money's working for him. But it was from a conversation with me that allowed him to open up and think differently, right? So now he got, an asset in Dominican Republic that's going to increase in value when he comes home. He got stocks that he's letting sit in his account, grow, so that when he comes home, he got equity, right? So these are the things that I try to tell people to tap into. This is how you make money work for you. And I know my boy's going to be good, even though he got to sit down 2 years. he's going to come back to something.
Yeah.
And that was from conversations that he had with me. So I know he's going to thank me in 2 years. Like, yo, I appreciate you. Because when he goes and sells that property in the Dominican Republic, he's going to grab capital gains. And when he's going to go ahead and sell those stocks, he's going to grab capital gains. So, shout out my mans. And, I can't wait till you come home, brother.
Absolutely, man. So, last and final touch, man, message to the youth.
Message to the youth is no more excuses. This is your opportunity to shine, and this is your opportunity to, obtain applied knowledge, right? So whatever you're learning right now, you have to apply it, and you have to seek more knowledge, right? So if you want to learn about stocks, focus on learning it from somebody that can teach you. If you want to learn about real estate, focus on somebody that can teach you. Look for mentors. Look for people that can take you to the right direction. Understand that your friends and your families don't have the answer, right? They have what they have called an opinion. And opinions are cool. You place those in your back pockets. But you look for the answers. And I always think about when Kanye was like, you don't got the answer, Sway. You don't got the answer, Sway. He was not telling Sway that he's not knowledgeable. He's trying to say, yo, you don't have the answers to give me because I'm up here, bro, and you're down here. I get what you're saying. Understand it. But don't give me an answer that you don't have the answers for. Yeah. I can't seek advice from you. Yeah. That's what that was coming from. So for me, it's like when you look at your mom and she's telling you, yo, you got to go to college, it brings me to you don't got the answers, Sway, because 9 out of 9 times, your mom didn't go to college. She's just telling you to go to college because someone told her to go to college, right? That's how the game of the system works. But that's not the ideal answer. So if you want the ideal answer, you got to seek it from people that are at a level that you want to be at, right? So seek mentors, seek information, read more books, challenge yourself to read more books. I try to do a book a month, and then go on YouTube and look for a mentor. And that's somebody that is successful in their workspace and they're showing people or conversing on social media or on YouTube, conversing that topic and making you much more knowledgeable. Because if it were up to me, Russell Brunson would be my mentor. Nipsey Hussle would be my mentor. Jay-Z would be my mentor. Him 500 would be my mentor. Neil Davis would be my mentor. And they're all people that I obtain knowledge from. And when I need business knowledge, I go to Neil Davis. When I need credit knowledge, I go to Him 500. When I need entrepreneurship, I go to Nipsey Hussle. When I need business boss leadership, I go to Hove. Right? So these are the people that I look to as my mentors. And even though I don't know them personally, yeah, I know what their values are. And when you can converse through values, then that's as good as having a real life conversation. So I tell everybody, you don't need to have a specific mentor. You can have mentors, and you don't even have to know your mentors. They can still be a mentor. Don't look for excuses. Look for opportunities, and that's what's going to make you into a successful person.
Absolutely, man. So thank you for coming on Conversations with Zoe once again. Time to stock plug. We just not giving family advice, relationship advice, hood advice, group perspective. We dabbling with finances now. Financial freedom, financial literacy, and trying to obtain generational wealth. We got kids now. We're trying to have our kids live better than we did. And it's a special episode. Thank you so much.
I just got one more thing to say, guys. Whoever's watching this and you guys watch it to the end, please make sure that you go ahead and you get a Roth IRA. You add some money to your Roth IRA monthly. You try to max it out at $5,000 a year. The reason that the Roth IRA is only $5,000 a year is because it's literally the most powerful tool ever created. And they limit you to how much money you can put into it because it's the most powerful tool ever created. So for whoever's watching it to the end, go ahead, get a Roth IRA, create an account with Fidelity, create an account with a Webull, right? Get you a Roth IRA, put money into it. If you can max out at 5,000, do it. And this is how I trade for free. This is all tax free. And whatever you make after you pull out at the age of 55, you don't have to pay $1 back to anybody. It can be literally 2, 3, 4, 30 million. You don't owe nobody a cent. That's all your money. It's nothing like a 401k. It's actually the opposite. Make sure you're doing it. This is how you're going to be successful. I wanted to help you guys and drop a gem. Hopefully that helps. My name is Tone Dollars. You guys can follow me at Tone Dollars or Tone_Dollars on Instagram. I provide OnlyFans. It's Tone_Dollars. I provide financial literacy on my OnlyFans, where I give game on real estate, stocks, and just financial literacy. So if you guys need any type of help, contact me. I got your back. We out of here.
Yes, sir. Let's get it.